welcome to One Book, Two Book for 2018. My name is John Kenyon, and I'm the Executive Director of the Iowa City UNESCO City of Literature Organization. Can all you Borlaug folks in the back hear me okay? All right, awesome. I'm sorry, we had to let the W's be in the front for a change, so great. So, we are one of just 28 cities of literature in the world as designated by UNESCO, and one of just 2 in the United States now that we've been joined by our friends in Seattle. Part of our mission is to offer programs that connect readers and writers through the power of story. And tonight we will connect you with some powerful stories and poems and some drawings from some very talented young writers and artists. This is the 7th annual One Book, Two Book Festival, and it would not be possible without the efforts of many people. Let's see if I can get this up here. That's me. We're not ready for Mallory yet, so we were selected recipients of funds from the Hawkeye chapter of the 100 Plus Men organization this year, and we thank that group for its support. We also have received funding from the Community Foundation of Johnson County, from ACT, from US Bank, and from Iowa Public Radio. The women of Kappa Kappa Gamma's University of Iowa chapter also raised money through their fall philanthropy to support One Book, Two Book, and their sponsorship paid for the booklets of student writing that are on your table. Now, despite that sponsorship, those booklets are not cheap. So let's make sure that our selected student writers and our teacher librarians from the schools and our parents get copies of those before everybody else pilfers them. Can you help me with that? Okay, thank you. And before I get started on more thank yous, I did want to say that we're going to be working through here while you're eating to have the students come up and read. So our friends with Grays who are catering tonight are going to be coming through and bussing the tables. So if you see them coming, they're going to try to do it during the quiet moments so we don't interrupt our student readers. So if you can help them get the plates out of there quietly, that would help us a lot. So now I would also like to take a moment to thank the people whose work made this festival possible. First, our founders, Carolyn Brown, Tim Terry, and Josh Schamberger, all were members of the City of Literature Board at the outset, and they led the drive to start this festival. And we're actually joined, I believe, by Tim tonight over here at the Willow Inn table, so thank you very much, Tim. The festival committee members, especially our friends in the children's departments of the Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty libraries, were instrumental in bringing this together, while the United Way, which helped with volunteer recruitment, was a key partner. And I wanted to take a special moment to mention a book drive that United Way will launch around April 1st to gather books to be redistributed to area schools so that all children can own their own books. Watch for book collection boxes to show up around April 1st in various banks, businesses, and libraries. Last year, about 5,000 books were collected that support children and families all across Johnson and Washington counties. I also would like to thank the participating schools, particularly the teacher librarians and principals who helped to spread the word, and the classroom teachers who encouraged their students to submit writing to the festival. A special thank you to Denise Remke with the Iowa City School District, who again went above and beyond to make all of this work smoothly. And I would like to give a special thanks to the team from ACT that is here at the front table this evening, who evaluated the more than 800 writing submissions that we received for One Book, Two Book this year. They did this quickly and efficiently, and we would not be here tonight without their efforts, so thank you to your team. So what sets this festival apart is that it's not only a celebration of writing for children, but writing by children. We had more than 800 students from the corridor submit work to be evaluated, and we asked our friends at ACT to select one student to represent each of the 22 elementary schools in the Iowa City area. This banquet has been a tradition from the very first year of the festival, and we continue to kick off our programming each year in this way as a thank you to the Iowa City schools for their valuable partnership with the City of Literature. So here's how things will work, and I've run through this with our student readers, our superstars that are going to be up here shortly. But so everybody is aware, we're going to first ask that the first 11 readers can come down and sit in these chairs so that they can be ready to come up when they're called. And then once they read, they're going to be presented with a certificate of merit. And the City of Literature, thanks to our sponsors, is also able to present a gift certificate to Prairie Lights for each student recognized this weekend. And we, of course, thank our sponsors for that support. So now, to help me introduce our young readers, I would like to introduce the first of 2 members of our local literary community who are going to help me. First up is Mallory Hellman, who is the director of the Iowa Youth Writing Project. So Mallory, if you would join me up here, please.
Thanks, John. Ooh. Yep. Oh, terrific. We had some fun drama with the mics earlier. I've been told that has been quelled, so we're good. Hi, welcome. It is a pleasure to see all of you here. This is one of my favorite nights and one of my favorite weekends of the entire year here in Iowa City. As John said, my name is Mallory Hellman. I'm the director of the Iowa Youth Writing Project, and that gives me a chance to spend a lot of time in the schools. We're an organization that aims to empower and inspire K through 12 youth by doing creative writing workshops in schools and community centers. So a lot of you representing schools out here may have seen us. And one of the things that was really cool about getting the list of this year's winners and getting to read their pieces is that I ran across some names of students we work with from week to week. And that always puts a special spark in my heart, because it's really cool to know that, like, the most talented kids in the city chose to work with us or choose to work with us from time to time. And that's a real honor. And having read their pieces, I can say with great confidence that it's all of our honor to be sharing space with them tonight. We are in for an absolutely incredible show. I can't wait to hear these pieces that I have seen on the page be animated by voices. So without further ado, we are going to start off with our friend Faizan Ahmad, a third grader at Wickham Elementary, who's going to read his piece, Jack's First Flight.
Jack's First Flight. It was Jack's first flight from London to Chicago on a Boeing 747-400. Jack was eating at a restaurant at London Heathrow Airport. While he ate, his stomach was full of lots of butterflies because he was really nervous about the flight. They waited about 2 hours for the aircraft to arrive from his previous flight. Jack slept on his mom's lap for about 1 hour and 45 minutes. In the remaining time, he went on his phone and watched videos with his earbuds on. Finally, the Boeing 747-400 arrived to the gate. Jack saw passengers from all over the world come out of the aircraft. They waited another 30 minutes before it was time to board. Jack felt sick to his stomach. The woman at the gate asked for their boarding passes and passports, which Jack's parents handed over. She said, "Thank you," and cheers. Jack and his parents boarded. Jack said, "This is massive." They all laughed. They entered the aircraft and found their seats. Jack saw all the flight attendants and they seemed nice, so he started feeling less nervous. When everyone had boarded, the seatbelt sign appeared. The flight attendants announced, "Please fasten your seatbelts for taxi and takeoff." The family put their seatbelts on. Jack said, "Dad, I'm a bit still nervous." His dad replied, "It's all right. It's going to be great. Did you see the flight attendants? They were nice, right?" Jack thought for a second and replied, "Dad, you're right. I'm not scared." The aircraft started pushback and taxied to the runway. It was ready for takeoff. The aircraft started shaking. Jack put his head on his dad's lap. They rolled quickly and took off into the sky. Jack felt nice and cozy. He went right to sleep for about 6 hours and 20 minutes. He heard a flight attendant talking to his mom and dad about their meals. Jack asked himself, "What's in that trolley?" His mom said, "Oh, honey, you're awake. Here's your food. What drink would you want?" "Coke, please," Jack answered. Jack watched a movie on the screen. After 30 minutes, he paused it and checked how much time was remaining on the flight. It was 1 hour and 30 minutes. He went back to the movie and ate his chicken and rice. After the movie, he looked out the window and saw they were really low. He looked at the flight map on the screen and saw there were only 10 more minutes until arrival. He was so excited. They touched down smoothly. His parents asked, "Did you like your first flight, Jack?" He nodded a bunch of times but said, "Tired." Mom and Dad both nodded with agreement. The captain said, "Welcome to Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Please keep your seatbelts fastened until we get to the gate." They waited for the aircraft to stop at the gate. They finally stopped and got off the aircraft. Jack said, "That was so cool and amazing." He was no longer afraid of flying and was happy that his first flight was on a beautiful historical aircraft that will soon be retired.
That was so cool and amazing, wasn't it? One of the things that I love about that story, and something that stuck with me both when I read it and hearing it now, that sense of detail. You know, when you're afraid of something and you're about to embark on an adventure, something that's new, you notice everything from the way your stomach feels to the sound the plane makes when you're taking off. And I just love the way you took your time with that piece. It was beautiful. All right, we are just getting started. Next up, we have Riona Ayers, a 5th grader from Twain, who's going to read her piece, The Night Bear.
Part 1. Anya's Perspective. It was nighttime in the forest, and Anya was moving slowly through the trees. With night coming shorter and shorter now, these hours were precious. With her dirty cotton dress and tan skin, Anya blended into the shadows as if she were a shadow herself, barely making a sound. And then she heard it. Bad, bad, bad. Now on the alert, Anya pricked up her ears, sat down, and listened. A pause. Bad. There it was, the night bear. Now all she had to do was lure it into her trap. Part 2. Night Bear's Perspective. Following the smell of meat that tempted its nose, the night bear shambled closer to the trap that was laid for it. It stopped for a moment, feeling the presence of another being, and dismissed it as another bear. But too small to be a bear. Maybe a cub. Yes, that must be it. Nothing but bears, their cubs, and humans in these woods. Humans. The night bear shuddered. But humans never came this far into the forest, so it couldn't be one of them. He never thought that there would be a human child right there. Part 3. Back to Anya. Come on, Anya thought. Just a few steps more. Hoping that the night bear would be as easy to tame as she had thought, she watched her prey coming ever closer to the net. And then it happened. The night bear fell into the trap with a mighty roar, and Anya nearly jumped for joy until she saw the state the night bear was in. Slashing the air with his claws, getting more tangled in the net as he did so, and growling, Anya couldn't help but doubt her hopes that he would be easy to tame. When he stopped struggling, tired out, he roared again and sank to the ground as much as he could in his top prison. Part 4. Night bear again. Getting tangled in a net was not on the top of the night bear's priority list, so when he fell into the trap, he did the first thing that his instincts told him to do and roared, slashing at the net in the air. The next thing that he remembered was a warm fire and a nice smell. His instincts telling him to run, he tried to get to his feet, but a dizzy, faint feeling filled his head, and he collapsed. Hush, you'll be all right. At first, the night bear thought it was the voice of his mother, but soon realized that it was the human language. Wondering who it might be, he lifted his head and looked around, and saw a human child. But wait, she's not hurting me. She's helping me. The night bear didn't know that he had fallen asleep, but he woke to the sun in his eyes. He saw no sign of the child around the remains of the fire. Trying his ankle, he found that he could now walk. Limping away from the ashes of the fire, he looked back, almost not wanting to leave, and finally, breaking into a limping run, he left.
What a marvelous dance with language that was, wasn't it? Thought the night bear's perspective in particular was really cool, that the night bear was as afraid of Anya as Anya was possibly afraid of the night bear. But then they became friends. Also, I'd like to meet a night bear, I've decided after that. They seem not so bad. All right, next, Landon Bell, a 4th grader at Van Allen Elementary, will read his piece, Pick Up Basketball.
Pick Up Basketball by Landon Bell. I got lightning in my kicks 'cause I'm too quick. I'll make you miss. I forgot. I got swish. Buckets all day, buckets all night. I'll make you pay. I'm always in your way. My team has one big dream for the trophy on Center Street. There's no one we can't beat. I'll make you wish you didn't see my swish. Splish, splash, swoosh. I'll bet I'll make nothing but net. You say I was in your way. I say I just make you pay. I'm on a roll like boulders on a mountain. Nothing can stop me. We won't stop till we get that trophy.
Bars. That was so good. I really enjoyed the sound in that poem, didn't you guys? Like, did you feel the flow? Okay, here's a thing, here's a secret. If you haven't seen this poem written down, some of the words are written down the page, like swish and swoop. So it's like a basketball in flight. How cool is that? What a brilliant exercise in sound and writing. Next, our friend Evelyn Burgess, a 6th grader at Grantwood Elementary, will read her piece, Why?
Why is it that I, as a woman, only get paid 76 cents for every dollar a man makes? Why is it that my non-white friends get bullied, harassed, and discriminated against just because the color of their skin? Why does the KKK still exist? Is it to cause fear, worry, and misery in those who they believe shouldn't be here? Why is it that because I'm white, I get more privilege, more opportunities than any one person of color? Why is it that because my family earns more than some, that I am better off and closer to success when I didn't even help to earn that? Why do I get more right to a college degree than someone of the same qualifications, but with different colored skin? Why is white the norm, the regular, the usual? Do we have to assume that we're all white? Why is it that some white people are scared of people of color? What makes an African American, an Asian, a Hispanic any different? Why is it that we fight wars when we could just have peace and equality for all? Why do white people use their privilege for bad and not to make the world a better place for those around us? If you need to put others down to bring yourself up, something is wrong. If you feel like someone is threatening because they are a person of color, you are wrong. Use your privilege to improve the place we live in, not divide it.
You know, it's funny. Right before this, I got the chance to talk to Evelyn about this piece a little bit. And I hope you're okay with my saying this. But she told me that, you know, she was concerned about possibly getting emotional while she was reading that. And it was funny because, you know, as I'd read the piece and I was thinking about coming up here today, I was thinking, gosh, I hope I don't get emotional when I talk about that piece. So I guess we're feeling the same thing. Please don't stop writing. Don't stop writing things like that. As we've seen over the last week, especially, youth have an incredibly powerful voice in this movement, and this is an indication of that. That was righteous, thank you. All right, next, Mariana Butler, a 4th grader at Hills, will read her piece, The Pet War.
Once in a house on Apple Avenue, a pet war was being waged. Let me tell you the tale. There was a family of dogs living in a house with their owners, Lily and Justin. In the family of dogs were 3 puppies and 2 parents. Lightning, a troublemaker, Rosabelle, a sweet pup, and Ginger, the sassy one. Their parents were butter and waffles. Everything was perfect in their lives. But one day, Lily brought home a family of cats. The dogs and cats instantly hated each other. Just like that. Waffles barked, "You dare enter our house? I declare war on the cats." The mother cat, Tara, hissed back, "We accept your war." They agreed to have the war out in the backyard, where Lily and Justin couldn't see them. While Butter spread the news around the neighborhood, Lightning set booby traps, Ginger built a fort, and Rosabelle slept nervously. The cats prepared as well. They were meeting secretly with the squirrels to form a distraction squad. Except for Tara's sons, Paws and Luke, that is. He and his brother were exploring the dog's battleground when they saw Rosabelle sleeping. How can she be sleeping at a time like this? Luke meowed. Soon all the cats and dogs in the neighborhood chose their sides in the war. Then Tara commanded, "Let the war begin!" Food was thrown, booby traps sprang, forts crumbled, and squirrels zigzagged through it all. The war went on for 15 minutes. Only Rosabelle and Tara's sons, Paz and Luke, made friends while everyone was fighting in the war. But they had to end the war because Lily and Justin came out to the backyard. The cats and dogs still hate each other to this day, but they made peace for now. Dun dun dun!
Can never have any type of progress without squirrels, right? A key distraction. All right, next we have Zuzu Coleman, a 5th grader at Lemmy, who will be reading her piece, Sand Dollar Beach.
I remember it like yesterday, that Sand Dollar Beach. The rocky shores and chilling waters still flash in my memory, like a video that goes on repeat. My sister and I found shells, aquatic snails, clams, and a few crab. The sky on that day was a vibrant blue, and there were not many clouds in the sky. The sea was like a vast plain, ever going and glistening in the sunlight, forever to come. Cruisers sailed for the world, splashing water everywhere. On that day, I felt so free I had no care in the world. The chilling water would have bothered me, but the experience was too thrilling for me to notice that I was drenched from knees down. I jumped the tide, scavenged for shells, big ones, small ones, shiny purple shells, any type of shell you could imagine. My favorite, the sand dollar, is the one I found with wonder in my eyes. I was looking for the most beautiful shell I could find. Suddenly, I saw something. A small white shell, the kind of shell you get in the gift shops on the beach, the ones that look absolutely perfect. I snatched it, faster than I did with any other shell because I wanted it so badly. But to my surprise, it was different than I saw it as. It was almost like a button to me. I didn't know any better. As I held it in my hand, I made a discovery. It was fragile, as if with a squeeze it would crumble to pieces. I dashed across the beach, flinging sand behind me as I ran. When I reached my mom, she told me it was a sand dollar, and as of today, it sits at my bedside every night. I never wanted to leave the beach. I loved it there. But alas, I had to leave the blue skies and shells longing to be picked up, for I will never forget that Sand Dollar Beach.
What gorgeous descriptions. I couldn't help but notice that you're wearing a little shell necklace, and I was wondering. I think the moment that stuck out to me the most in that one is the sudden discovery that the sand dollar is fragile, as so many beautiful things are, even if we want them to last. Next, we have Tessa Elkins, a 1st grader at Horn Elementary, who will be reading her piece, The Mermaid Friends.
Once upon a time, there was a mermaid splashing all around the sea. Her other mermaid friends were calling, "It's time for supper." She was having a play date with Merle and Marta. The mermaid's name was Shimmer. "Hi, Shimmer, we are having seaweed and sea carrots. For dessert, we're having mermaid cupcakes. Guess what? We're even having it outside." "Hey, Shimmer, is that a ship?" "Oh, yes, it is," Shimmer said. Shimmer said, "Swim." Pearl and Marta and Shimmer swam as fast as they could, but they found a new place. "I think we are lost," said Pearl. "Me too," said Marta. "Me too," said Shimmer. "Everything is just water." "Everything is just water," said Marta, "and there is no fish." "What do you think about this place, Shimmer?" said Pearl. "I do not know. We have to find our families," Shimmer said. We swam too fast, said Marta. Where do we start? The ocean is too big. How will we find the Mermaid Cove? If we need to find then we have to start now, said Pearl. Hey, Emily, is that the dolphin at Dolphin Rock? We are at Dolphin Rock. Hi, Emily, can we have a ride to Mermaid Cove? Sure. Hop on. Whoosh, this is fun. Hi, hey, that's Mermaid Cove. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. We are home, they screamed.
What a sense of suspense in that one. How many of you were worried that they would not make it back home? I was definitely worried that they would not make it back home, and I was very glad that they did. But things tend to work out under the sea. Next, Jordan Gamia, a 5th grader at Kirkwood, will read his piece, Crazy Shark Tries a Cannon.
I started writing comics in 1st grade. I published my first book, a graphic novel, in November 2017. Stick Eye is my favorite graphic novel now that I've written. Stick Eye used to be a slave and turned into a hero. The book I will be reading is supposed to be an assignment, and I turned into a graphic novel. A shark swam through the seas when he finds an ancient artifact. It turned out to be an old cannon. He tried it and flew far and crashed into the building in a city. Oops, backfire.
So much activity and so much energy in these panels. It's amazing. Really nice work and beautifully read, too. Next, we have Samantha Glass, a 5th grader at Regina Elementary, who will read her piece, Soldier and Daughter.
Soldier and Daughter. She thought the world was over, him gone so far away. She cried and cried till quiet swept her away. She remembered those wonderful moments, him and her together, always knowing the solid truth, he'd keep loving her forever. She tried to go on without him, though she knew it would be hard, until she realized she could stay with him forever in her heart. Then one day she looked out her window, still deep in her misery. She saw a car returning. Could it truly be? He got out, his eyes shining. His smile brought back her blurred memories of all the time they'd spent together, warm and smiling, happy. She ran to him, tears and laughter brimming. There was one sweet moment, father and daughter reunited. She had thought the world was over, with him gone so far away. Now she finally felt the crack in her heart had mended. Love and hope can ease your heart in a time of sadness. No matter how hard it is, hope can be found in many ways.
What a beautiful, mature sentiment. Amazing, about making the best of a prolonged dark situation. Such a cool moment in that poem when he finally emerges from the car. I was very nervous that it was going to be something else. All right, next we have Linus Jesse, a 6th grader at Penn, who will be reading his piece, Just to Live.
Just to live. Wait. There. Just to live by Linus Jesse. My life is hard. Just to function, I have to push myself past my normal limit. Just to speak, just to talk, I have to tell myself, that I'm okay. These are just two of the things that I face.
Beautiful chorus of the word just in that poem, and so much said in so few words. All right. Next, we have Mira Johnson, a second grader at Lucas, who will read her piece, Books, Books, Books. It's my kind of piece.
Books, Books, Books by Mira Johnson. I love books. Books make me happy. Books make me sad. Books make me angry. Books make me mad. I read in a tree, in the library. I like easy books. I like hard. I like chapter books too. Reading books is my favorite thing to do. It should be one of your favorites too.
That last line is some words to live by. Let's hear it for our first 11 readers, all of them. Now I'll turn it back over to John, who will lead you into the second half.
All right. Thank you, Mallory, and thank you to our first 11 readers. Let's hear it for them again. That was amazing work. Okay, now I would like to ask our next 11 readers if they would come up here and sit at the chairs. It's your turn. And next up to help me introduce our young authors is Andre Perry. Andre is a member of my board of directors at the City of Literature, as well as serving as the director of the Englert Theater and a founder of the Mission Creek and Witching Hour festivals. So Andre, please come on up and help me.
It is so awesome to be here. I work a lot, as my wife and daughter will tell you, and there are like few things that can re-energize you more than hearing the future share their creativity and intelligence in a room like this. So thank you to everyone who's involved here. First reader we'd like to bring up is May Knight from Mann Elementary. She's going to read her piece, How I Feel About Food.
How I feel about food. Food is complicated. We all have opinions about food, and we don't always agree. My opinion? If I could, I'd eat a strict diet of mac and cheese, tortellini, no sauce, and mandarin oranges. I don't like mushrooms, asparagus, especially not pickled herring. I don't like pickled anything, except for pickles. I kind of like pickles. Small carrots, but not big carrots. I love to eat Nutella sandwiches. I love sweet peppers, but not if they're cooked. Pepperoni pizza is good, but only if it doesn't have pepperoni. I absolutely love milk. I'd say that out of my whole family, I drink the most milk, and I'm the smallest. I like sugar. I'm not at all picky about that. I will eat brown sugar, granulated sugar, and especially powdered sugar. Did I mention I eat these sugars straight? Well, I do, even though I'm not allowed to. My parents have different opinions about that. If I could invent a food, I would invent a sugar that is healthy for you, that would still taste good, so that everyone would be satisfied. It would come in all of the sugar flavors: brown healthy sugar, granulated healthy sugar, and my favorite, powdered healthy sugar. Then my parents would let me eat straight sugar. I hope.
So May definitely has one of the sharpest wits in Johnson County, if not also Lynn County. And I really appreciate that she has already designed her aesthetic and her taste levels to the next level. Good job, May. Next up, we have Bella Rose Liu, who's a fifth grader at Longfellow, and she was actually not able to join us tonight. So in place of her, her friend Brooke is going to read her piece in the Amazon.
In the Amazon, Ella listened to the twigs crunch under her feet. She could hear her sweat as she could taste her sweat as she walked. She could hear the hiss of the snakes and the buzz of the bugs. Ella stiffened her shoulders. She feared the diseases, the lack of food and water, and the animals that could harm her. But then her shoulders dropped when she heard the whistling of the birds. She looked up and saw only sparks of sunlight through the leaves and branches. Ella enjoyed the earthly smell of the trees. She longed to touch the flowers that grew on the tree trunks, but pulled back her hand because they might be poisonous. She sat down on a log and wished to stay a little longer.
It's so much detail in such a small amount of space. And there's such an exceptional line at that moment when she drops her shoulders and hears the whistling of the birds. I'm sorry Bella wasn't here tonight. Thank you so much, Brooke, for being able to read. Next up, we have Anthony Lum, who's a third grader at Hoover, and he's going to read an untitled piece.
Anthony Lum, Hoover Elementary, 3rd grade. Dear Farmer Bob, I think you should not eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Turkeys don't taste as good as chicken. Turkey can be better. Children like, don't. Chicken tastes like marshmallows. Chicken is juicy and turkey is dry. It's even better to have a vegetarian Thanksgiving. You can have more guests at your party. It tastes better, it is healthier, and you would get more vitamins. You could get hurt. Your tooth could fall out. You could swallow a bone. An angry flock of jennies could attack you. I don't want to die. My mom would miss me. I have not learned my math facts, and I am not finished reading my book. I think you should follow my advice. Sincerely, the Random Turkeys.
There's no better line than the math facts piece. Next up, we have Ava Meindlinger from Garner, and she's going to read her piece, The Ocean.
The ocean. The ocean is a beautiful sight. The water is blue and bright. The waves go high, the waves go low. The sun on the beach makes the sand glow. The creatures in the sea are big and small. The dolphin leaps and jumps so tall. The crab creeps slowly across the sand. More crabs join, they look like they're in a marching band. The seahorse has a curly tail. The angelfish has fins like a sail. The pufferfish pops out so wide. The tentacles of a jellyfish flow side to side. The shells can be different shapes. The seaweed is greener than grapes. The starfish has 5 arms. The coral looks like beautiful charms. The ocean is a place I would love to see. I hope you would come with me. The ocean is a wonderful place. It brings a smile to my face.
Ava's description of the ocean is so amazing, so colorful, so descriptive, just beautiful language used in that poem. Thank you so much, Ava. Next up, we have Wyatt Minnie, who's a 2nd grader at Shimmick, and he's going to read an untitled piece.
Sorry, Lava, but I need to take you out. But that's crazy. Who wants me gone? Us. See, Lava? But I keep the world from freezing. Whoa, don't get too hot. Help. Out! Ah!
I love the expressions on the lava's face in each one of these panels successively as it goes. It's really an amazing job. It's like the lava's different but the same, a different side of the lava each time. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Wyatt. Next up, we have Olivia Rantanen from Lincoln, and she's going to read her poem, Katia the Kitten Fairy.
Claire and her best friend Lily went in the pet store. There were lots of pets. Their favorite was the sparkling kitten. It was so pretty. It had fairy dust on it. Then a fairy came out. "Hello, girl," she said in a sweet voice. They were so excited. It was a fairy. Cuddy the Kitten Fairy had to find a golden feather. It had purple and silver stripes on it. They were made with fairy dust. Ice Castle had a glass container that held the golden feather with the purple and silver stripes that was sparkly and pretty. The sparkles were fairy dust. They had purple, gold, and silver dots on the fairy dust. The stripes were gold and silver with purple dots. She turned Lily and Claire into fairies with her wand. They didn't have one because they weren't real fairies. They were helping them. They looked for the feather. When they got there, Kadia told them that there is danger. The people that lived there had magic ice powers, so they had to be careful. They flew over their heads. They got to the glass cage. They were so excited. They tried to get it out, but it was too heavy. So Lily and Claire and her best friend Claire told Claudia a good idea. They weren't big enough to lift it, so they asked Claudia if she could turn Lily and Claire back into humans so that they could lift it. So Claudia did. Lily distracted the people while Claire got the feather. And when they were done, Claudia turned them back into fairies. They went to Claudia's sister and brought Claire and Lily with Claudia. They got a great necklace that had baby animals with their fairy each on it. Had a heart shape in the animal's face and swirls for the fairy dust. The end.
Olivia, first off, that's the most awesome pet store in America, and I'm glad that you found it. And just thank you so much for being able to create and transport us to a new world. It's just great. Next up, we have Owen Scott, who's in 4th grade at Coralville Central, and he's going to read his piece, A Day of Idioms.
A boy named Sam was walking home when he tripped over a rock and fell in the grass. After that, he spoke in idioms. When he got home, his mom asked how he did on his test. Sam said, "I hit the nail on the head." His mom started to laugh. "What's so funny?" asked Sam. "Nothing," said Sam's mom. When his dad came home from work, Sam asked, "Did you bring home the bacon so we can go to the movie theater?" "No," said Sam's dad. At that second, Sam's little brother came in the room and jumped on him. "You're driving me up the wall," said Sam. "I'm not driving you up the wall." "Okay, this is getting annoying," said Dad. "I don't know if I should send you up to your room or put you on the steps." "The ball's in your court," said Sam. "That does it," said Mom. "Up to your bed." Sam responded, "Geez, you guys are like two peas in a pod." "You two should hit the hay. You're grumpy today." "If you stop speaking in idioms, you can stay for dinner." Said Sam, Mom. "Good, because I'm starving to death." "Oops, sorry." "Good, don't let it happen again." When Sam was eating, he was doing his homework too. It's like hitting two birds with one stone. Bed, now. The next morning, Sam was walking to school but forgot his homework. He turned around to get it and smacked into a stop sign. When he got home, everyone was happy to see he didn't speak in idioms anymore.
aside from being just absolutely hilarious and funny and such great use of the idioms in that piece, Owen, it's really cool how you like tie the whole story up. You begin with him falling down in the grass and he becomes the idiom speaker, and then he hits his head on the stop sign and he's back to normal. It's just like a really advanced trick and narrative. So great job on that. Next up, we have Rosie Terry from Willow Wind, and she's going to read her piece, Sticks and Stones. Rosie.
Don't tell me that sticks and stones will break my bones, but words can never hurt me. When words hurt more than a fraction made with a stone. The physical pain will be nothing compared to the injuries in my brain that make me insane. Can you feel the weight in my chest when I take my first breath after being thrown down in an endless cycle with wheels that are running around and around? I will never be able to explain how being hit by stones will never be the same as in names you get caught that make you appalled, but you start believing that they aren't just words, but sticks and stones in the form of code that only some people will be able to unravel. With the thread and the needle, I try to sew my heart up. It tries to break open again, but there is no way to get my thread unless you've thought ahead. This time I have to use glue. But before that can dry, you have to rely that it will stick together, because if you use your finger to hold it, it will never be able to stand on its own, and it ends up being like a baby bird trying to fly right after it's born and getting pushed out of the nest right after it's just experienced its first breath. It can't rely on anything but the hope that the ground won't hurt too much when you get thrown down. You try to lift your wings, you have the feeling that you're not going to fly but instead die, but there's no escaping that all you are doing is going down, plummeting to the ground. You can't get enough air as you're falling, so you feel like you are going to drown. You try to cry for help, but there is no one around. Will anyone even hear the sounds when you hit the ground? Silence surrounds. Sticks and stones fall down, right next to the bird on the ground.
It's really an amazing and deep poem by Rosie. And what's unbelievable, I just had to underline some of the language in here because there's just amazing language. When she said, but you start believing that they aren't just words, but sticks and stones in the form of a code that only some people will be able to unravel. I was just literally stopped in the middle of reading it, and I had to put it down and then come back and think about it. It's just an amazing turn of language, and of course the content itself is real. And I'm glad that someone is able to express that and help us, and that's what the best poetry does. Next up, we have Clara Visser, who's from Weber, and she's going to read her piece, Evil Farmer.
Far, far away lived an evil farmer. He was evil. He planned to take over all farms. His brother was so nice. He also lived on a farm. The evil farmer did not want to take over his brother's farm. He still had love in his heart, even though he broke his favorite toy when they were little. What should he do? The evil farmer figured out that he could take over all farms but his brother's farm. Then the evil farmer remembered that he had a cat. The cat was named Trix. What will I do for the plan? Trix said. You will brainwash all the animals at all the farms, the evil farmer said. Ha ha ha, they said together. To get ready, Trix made a contraption that can brainwash all the animals on a farm. At the first farm, Trix pressed a button on the contraption and that's the farm. All the animals are brainwashed. The evil farmer told the chickens to lay eggs. The chickens started laying eggs slowly, but suddenly they came out faster and faster. The evil farmer and his cat were so surprised. How did it do that, Trix? Said the evil farmer. I don't know, I just made it to brainwash them, replied Trix. Trix and the evil farmer went to another farm. At this farm they had cows. Moo. Trix pressed a button on the
Trapster and zaps the cows. Cows, start making milk, commanded the evil farmer. Trix noticed suddenly that the cows were making chocolate milk instead of white milk. Yum. The evil farmer and Trix were confused by what was happening, but they thought it was pretty cool. I love this, said the evil farmer. Me too, said Trix. They went to many, many farms. All the animals went crazy at the farms. The plan was working out exactly as they wanted. The evil farmer and Trix arrived at the last farm. Trix was about to zap the farm when the evil farmer's brother came out of the barn. How did it do that? Trix said. They didn't realize they were at his brother's farm. Hi, bro, how you doing? Said the evil farmer. Then bro says, I know you were evil all along. The good farmer went inside the garage to get something. Then when the evil farmer came back out, the contraption was kicked by a horse. Oh no, Chick's brainwashing machine got kicked by a horse, said the evil farmer. He began to cry. I didn't know he cries. The brainwashing... I have something to give you, said the good farmer. It's my toy. You fixed it. Thank you, said the evil farmer. Then they hug. I'm going to be good now, said. Do you want to eat lunch with me tomorrow, said the evil farmer. Sure, said the good farmer. See you tomorrow, said the evil now good farmer. They went home and Trix sang a song all the way home. The end.
That was really awesome, Clara. It's really funny, but there's also this amazing device that she uses where you forget about it, but she plants that the good farmer broke the evil farmer's toy like 35 years ago or whatever, and then it comes back at the end to be the thing that brings them together. And I think just on a deeper level, that story's really cool because it just talks about how no matter how far we might grow apart from people, there's like always a chance we can bring it back together and become friends again. So I don't know, I think that's just like an awesome message just kind of beneath the surface there. Next up, we have Cleo Walker, who's a 5th grader at Alexander, and he's going to read his piece, The Grit Interview.
The Grit Interview. My teacher, Miss Hester, had my class do a grit project. According to Angela Duckworth, grit is having perseverance and stamina over a long period of time. We had to pick someone who had a grit goal and ask them questions about their life. This is a story about someone having and showing grit. First quarter, I was horny enough to have an interview with Miss Ferry. Miss Ferry was an amazing 4th grade teacher. Miss Ferry's real name is Maddie. I chose Miss Ferry because she is a really nice teacher and she was my 4th grade teacher last year. Second quarter, she came to get me from Miss Hester's room. When I saw her through the window in Miss Hester's room, I stopped what I was doing immediately. When she came in the door, I felt like my heart stopped beating for 11 seconds. I stood up and walked with her. When we left the room, she asked me, "Where do you want to go?" So I just shrugged like normally. "Let's go to my room," she beamed. So we went in there and I was so nervous, but not that nervous. Halftime. I started to interview her. I asked her the first question. During your life so far, what has been one of the biggest goals you were able to achieve? Then she asked me, well, I have 2. You want me to talk about basketball or becoming a teacher? Of course, I responded with basketball. So she started explaining, I loved basketball, so I thought I wanted to be in the WNBA. I listened carefully so I could write down almost everything. So I felt less nervous. I asked the next question, what did you have to do to accomplish that goal? She answered, I had to join different teams, go to the court every day, and make 600 shots and 100 free throws. I looked shocked as ever, so I wrote it down. Halftime was almost over, so I had to hurry. Next question, where did you get your inspiration? At first, I wanted to be a cheerleader, but I was too tall. My mom started taking me to basketball games, so I got it from the women's basketball games. She explained, I kind of zoned out, but I got most of it. She asked me if she's saying too much, so I replied with a no. So I asked the next question, were there any obstacles in your way? She She answered yes. I thought I wasn't fast enough, and I started to want to quit. I was confused because I knew that Miss Ferry was really fast. It was 3 minutes until halftime was over. Did you ever think about giving up? Yes. I thought that I was not fast enough to play my position, she said. It was down to the last question. I just had to say it, but I was a little nervous, but I was all right. Third quarter time. When you achieved that goal, how did it help you in life? I finally asked. She thought for a moment. I felt proud that I was able to play basketball and help other students learn how to play basketball. I finished with a thank you. Fourth quarter. We shook hands and walked back to the Miss Hester's room. And she told me, I'm going to get you to talk to me someday. I just laughed, and that's the end of the game. It was a hard game, but I won it. That's how the interview went with Miss Ferry. Now I think I can achieve any goal I set.
There are a lot of cool things going on with that. One, structurally, Cleo, I love how you break it up into the game, with the quarters and the halftime. And then beyond that, I think it's really cool that you humanize a teacher, because when you're a student, or at least when I was a student, teachers are always these unreal people, but they're actually real people, and they have stories and things that they did. So that's really cool. But the last point is, it's really tough to do, but somehow you've accomplished it at a really young age, is that you actually have your voice, or what we might seem to think is your voice, locked into the actual writing. And so it seems you're almost speaking it, but no, you wrote it and you got it down there. And just that transformation, being able to do that is really difficult, and that's awesome that you're being able to do it. And maybe you and I can talk afterwards and I can figure out how to do that. So our last piece of this round is Andreas Warren, who's a sixth grader at Borlaug, and he's going to read an untitled piece.
Could you tell me about your grave? A small boy about the age of 11 stared up at me with calm, inquisitive eyes. He was the youngest one in the graveyard, everyone had said. I looked back at my grave. It was covered in jewels. Those were my family members, their ashes compressed into pretty little things. Now they were bound here to this land. Around the headstone stood a lavish bed of roses, some obscuring the view of my epitaph. Rob Roy, 1918 to 1990, wrote his life away. Next to the unkempt roses was a small peach tree. There was no need for this tree because the dead needn't eat, and all those who mattered most to me were dead. I don't think so, young man. I put my hands on my hips, but the boy persisted with pleading eyes and deep intonation in his voice, mightily distorting it into a whiny plead. Please, you are the greatest writer alive. The boy's latter statement was untrue, for neither of us were alive, but he didn't catch himself in his twisted usage of words. No, I think you have yourself mistaken. Perhaps you were talking of the great Lewis Carroll or some other legendary poet. Edgar Allan Poe? I tried avoiding talking of my career with other ghosts of the graveyard who had been alive during my great writing excursions. What they didn't know was of the excruciating pain that had laced my living years. What they didn't know was that my life was far from perfect. I had millions of fans and groupies, but they could never make up for the missing increments of my life, of my picture. Like when you try to put together a puzzle, but you can never find the centerpiece. That frustrating feeling of incompleteness. That was what I had experienced for what felt like forever. I had found the perfect angel of a girl, but alas, that didn't turn out. I got in a lifetime fight with my parents, and my grandparents, who had always been there for me, were gone with the wings of time. My siblings and I almost never got along. With no one to turn to, I headed straight toward the only thing in my life that wasn't a crumbling heap of dust and sorrow. Literature. No, sir, I'm not mistaken. I want to talk to you, Rob Roy. A glimmer in his eyes. In that instant, I vaguely remembered being a boy. The memories were suppressed under layers and tests of time. Now I understood what this boy was feeling. I want to know about your grave, he repeated. I gave in. My grave, eh? You ever notice how it's the loneliest one out there? About a good 40 feet away from the other graves. At this, the small child looked around and nodded. That's because you're special and you stand out. I grimaced and nodded slowly. And you see those gems on the front of my stone? I pointed, continuing. He inspected closely. Those are my family. Pretty, huh? Yes, sir. What's your name? I asked, bending down to be more at his height level. Will. My name is Will. Will puffed out his chest, obviously proud that his hero had just asked his name. I sighed. Was I going to keep telling the same lies in death that I had in life? I hadn't wanted any of this. I watched with a sultry glance as Will bounded off to tell the other boys of the graveyard about his encounter with Rob Roy, the greatest writer of all time.
Two things. One, maybe like the best line of 2018. Those are my family members. Their ashes compressed into pretty little things. Is that like book being sold at Prairie Lights right now? There's like a really like deep just consideration about how we move through the world in life, or I guess in the case of this story, in death. I don't know. It just felt like such a great way to end this in these readings that we just had here. Thank you so much, Andres. Thank you to all of the writers that we have in our community who came up on the stage to share their literature with us today. Hand it back over to John.
All right, thank you, Andre, and thanks again to all 22 of our readers. That was an amazing breadth of story and illustration and poems, and I'm always just amazed at this event. This is my favorite event of the year, and I think you can understand why. So usually we cap our presentation, our evening rather, at this event with a presentation by a keynote speaker, but this year we're doing something a little bit different. This is our 10th year as a City of Literature. We got the designation in 2008, so we've been doing this for a decade. And we thought we'd do something special with this event and all the events we have going on this year to celebrate. So last summer, a parent I know suggested that I check out a podcast from the Story Pirates, thinking I might find it interesting. I listened to a few episodes with my sons, and we were hooked. The Story Pirates is a nationally respected education and media organization based in New York and Los Angeles that turns kids' original stories into wild sketch comedy musicals featuring professional actors, and they've been doing this since 2004. And I'm guessing you guys maybe got some fodder tonight or some ideas for some things to do. So their mission is very closely aligned with our own. As I mentioned at the outset, ours is to connect readers and writers through the power of story. And they seek to celebrate the words and ideas of young people to create confident, literate students equipped with a variety of tools for written, verbal, and artistic self-expression. Seemed like there was a lot of overlap there, so we called the Story Pirates and talked with them, and we got them to send a team out. So tomorrow they will perform the original show Stuck in the Stone Age at 11 a.m. on this very stage. Tonight we are joined by Story Pirates Nikki and Will and Matt, who will help tell a little bit of their story about the Story Pirates and talk about their creative journey. So if you would please help me welcome the three of them to the stage. Come on up, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey everybody, how's it going? You guys good? We're so good. This has been so inspiring. And I do want to say, if we had known this would be such a fashion event, we would have not worn our t-shirts. You guys look good.
Yeah.
Good job, parents. And seriously, you guys were so inspiring. Every single one of those 22 stories, each one so different, so vibrant. It was really amazing. I just think we should give them one more round of applause, one more time, because it was so good. And John's right, this is really right in line with what we do. So the Story Pirates, our entire mission, literally our mission, the company's mission, we all get that when we're handed the book of, the book you get, you know, when you join a company. It's to blow kids' minds. And so the way that we do that is we are sent stories from all across the country. We read them, and we choose a select few of them to put up into sketches with music, costumes, little extra drama, and they're staged by directors, performed by professional actors, accompanied by musicians, and we go back to those schools and we perform those stories for those kids who don't know that we're coming. Yeah, and so you can imagine the reaction that gets. The kids, when you see them see their work performed for the first time, they light up with the possibility. And I think as young people, you're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you almost feel like there's like 5 stock answers, one of which is still cowboy. You know what I mean? For some reason, cowboy is always an option. You can't really be a cowboy. So now they can see, I can be a writer. I can create characters. I can create amazing settings. I can let my imagination run wild. And that's really so much of what we do. And to see that you guys are already letting your imaginations run wild and already stepping forward with these amazing ideas and these things that you want to say about life. I mean, I'm especially, of course, affected by the why piece. That was really, really brilliant. And so just to see that inside every kid is an amazing story, that's what Story Pirates does. And we're actually very excited because the Stuck in the Stone Age book is our first book. You can buy it outside. And tell them I did that.
Okay.
So what happens is in the book, these 2 characters go on an amazing adventure where they are stuck in prehistoric times, the Stone Age. So with the show, what we're doing is it's featuring those characters, but you'll see the show tomorrow. It's really a show that teaches students how to simply create a story, how to create a character, how to put that character in an exciting setting, how to string all the elements of storytelling together, and just shows them how fun and how really truly easy it can be to just write down your ideas, put them on paper. They can come to life. So I hope everyone will join us tomorrow for Stuck in the Stone Age, which also the book was based on an idea by a kid. It is adapted by New York Times bestselling author Jeff Rodkey, but it's just an adaptation on Rodkey's part. This is a kid's idea. Don't let him take the credit. But we're very excited about that performance tomorrow, and super inspired by what we've seen tonight. And I know that we were actually writing down little notes as we were watching you guys perform the stories. And by the way, it's so hard to get up here. I mean, I'm nerve-wracked right now. I can't imagine if I was in first grade. This is amazing. I would ask us to applaud again, but we already have. You know what? I'm going to ask us to applaud again. I'm going to. But did you guys have anything that jumped out at you guys that you loved, especially?
Yeah, I mean, again, my name's Nikki. So many things jumped out listening to these young writers writing, and I wrote a bunch of things down, and in order to, it's not on.
Professional performers, right?
It's like if I just speak more loudly, it's like the mic is on. It's not. Great. It's a live mic. Okay. I wrote a lot of stuff down. I have some questions for the authors, for our young writers, and in order, I feel like it's to keep celebrating their writing is for me to stop talking and for me to hear more from them. And so if the writers don't mind, I'd like to grab a mic and sort of just walk around and ask them a few questions. Does that sound all right? Can I have some thumbs up from the writers? They're like, yeah, you can ask me a question.
I think I see a lot of hands just shot up with thumbs, Nikki.
I might mispronounce your name, and so when you get up here, make sure you correct me if I've said it wrong. I'd love first to have a brief interview with Faizan Ahmad.
Faizan?
Please
Still
come right
around?
up. Cool,
There he
cool.
is.
Cool.
Round of applause for Faizan.
Also, bring on up Miss Butler, Mariana. You come on up too. I have questions for you. Okay. So excited. It's like a celebrity.
The stars are here.
Okay, you're here. Okay, I had some questions. First of all, I really enjoyed what you wrote. Jack's first flight, yes. I wondered, have you ever been on a plane?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna do this.
Yep.
Okay. And when was the last time you flew? Can you remember?
I think in summer.
Mm-hmm. And where were you going? Why were
I
you
was
going?
going to India.
Ah, to see who?
To see my grandparents and my cousins and my uncles and my all my relatives.
Oh, fantastic. I only ask because you wrote about flying with such great detail. I was like, either he's imagining it or he's been on a plane before. And you wrote it from firsthand experience. Fantastic. If you could fly anywhere in the world, where would you go? I know it's hard. It's a big world. It's like, how can you pick just one place?
I would go to Australia.
Australia, yes. I've never been. I would think I would like to go there also. Why? Why did you pick that one? What do you think about it is exciting?
I would like to see a bunch of animals and learn about them.
Yeah. And who would you bring if you could go?
My whole family.
Whole family's going. Okay, round of applause for Faizan. Okay. Oh, good. Did I say your name right? Is it Mariana?
It's a Mariana.
Oh, Mariana. I'm so sorry. Okay. Find it. Okay. Oh, Mariana. Got it. Okay. Do you have a dog?
Yes, I do. His name is Remy. He's a Rottweiler, and he's about 2 years old.
Okay, 2.
He's just a big baby.
Why?
He likes to try and sit on your lap and likes the TV. And
Do you have a cat?
no, my mom's allergic to cats.
Okay.
I once did find a stray cat twice, actually.
Did you bring it home?
No.
Okay, good. 'Cause Mom's allergic. Okay. Why do you think cats don't like dogs? Or do you think that's a myth or if that's real?
Well, I like to watch a lot of videos, and sometimes I'll watch the funniest Snapchats, and so one of them was a dog, and he had his first encounter with a cat, and it didn't go well.
No.
Plus, cats are just leave me alone, and dogs like to play with me.
Cool. My last question. If you were a dog, what would your dog name be?
Lemon the Pomsky.
Round of applause.
Amazing.
Great. Okay. Who else? Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
Can we bring up Jordan Gamia, who wrote The Crazy Shark Tries a Cannon? And let's also bring up Mira Johnson, who wrote Books.
Here they come.
Ooh, okay, in the meantime, let's also bring up May Knights, who wrote How I Feel About Food. Yeah, I have questions. Okay. Ooh.
Here's Jordan.
Okay, great. Come first, Jordan. Yes, okay, to the mic. Crazy Shark Tries a Cannon. This is your graphic. Yeah? I was wondering if you wouldn't mind telling us just a little bit about the first book. You had mentioned when you came up, I think, that you were also writing something else. Is that true?
I published a book in November.
Super close to the mic.
I published a book in November 2017.
You published a book in November 2017? Oh my gosh. And what is that book about?
It's called Stick Guy. It's basically a slave turning into a hero. And then the mayor was jealous about how people liked him more than the mayor himself, so he was jealous, so he tried to stop him. But he failed.
Obviously, yes.
Also his old boss back when he was a slave tried to recover his slave.
Tried to re-own him.
Yeah, but he kind of ended up saving him, and he thought he had him back, but instead he decided to take him straight to jail.
Fantastic. Okay, if Crazy Shark Tries a Cannon is any proof of your mind, I cannot wait to get the book that you're talking about right now. I'm so excited about it. Can you just tell me also why this shark is crazy? Why you identify him as a crazy shark trying a cannon?
Because no normal shark would try a cannon.
True. What a silly question.
Of course. Sorry. Thank you for making me Cool. Okay. Oh. Yes, bring the mic down. Okay, are you Mira?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Books, books, books. Okay. I would like to know, have you ever read a book that you did not like?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask you to name that book. I don't think we need to do that, but I just was wondering. I was like, wow, she really likes books. I wonder if there's a bad one or. Okay. And then what else do you like besides books? Anything else?
I like writing.
Ooh, okay.
And I like to eat.
Yes. Yes, me too. Yeah. Writing, reading, eating. Good. I'd like to know, which is better, do you think, reading a book or eating? You don't have to decide. That's a silly question. Round of applause for Mira. Thank you, Mira. You can have a seat. Thank you, dear. Okay, May, author of How I Feel About Food. May, you went into such great detail about foods, and I feel like we have a lot of foods in common that we like, but there are also some foods where I'm like, ooh, disagree. So I was wondering if we could do this thing. I'm just gonna say a bunch of food, and you can either say good or you can say bad. And if you don't know what it is, you can say, what's that? Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Scrambled eggs.
Yes. I love it.
Pancakes.
Good.
Okay. Biscuit.
I don't know.
Okay. Strawberries.
Good.
Blueberries.
Good.
Okay. Blackberries.
Good.
Boysenberries.
I don't know.
Okay. Fair. Cool. Chicken nuggets.
Good.
Okay. Fried chicken.
Bad.
Baked chicken. It's a conflict.
Bad.
Ooh. Rotisserie chicken.
Bad.
Okay.
You haven't had good rotisserie chicken.
Chicken in a sandwich.
Bad.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is the one. Ice cream.
Bad.
I like ice cream. Awesome. Round of applause for May. Thank you, May. I could do this forever, but I won't. I just have questions for a few more authors, or maybe just one. Oh, I just have a question for Owen Scott, who author of A Day of Idioms. He's coming from the back. Here he comes. Let's get himself together.
There he is.
All right. Ooh, that.
And this is what I meant by style.
I mean, he is properly dressed for the evening. Awesome. Okay, my writing assignment, low-key for Owen, is to write a short story for every literary device, but we can talk about that later. Owen, fantastic story. Thank you for reading and writing. Okay, when did you learn about idioms, or what an idiom is?
In class.
Recently, like this year, or like last year in class, or?
This year.
This year.
Yeah.
And what is the name of your teacher? Did you say the name?
Miss Winkler.
Oh, does someone know Miss Winkler? Oh, fantastic. Okay, shouts out to Miss Winkler. She's doing a good job. What's your favorite idiom? Have you learned a lot of them? Can you?
Dressed to the nines.
Dressed to the nines.
Clearly.
Oh, come on. A round of applause for Owen Scott.
That was amazing. And so as we can see, there's so much more in the kids' minds that we haven't seen. So we hope everyone keeps writing, and we hope that you guys will join us tomorrow for our performance of Stuck in the Stone Age. We think you'll love it. These guys are amazing, and we want to thank you guys so much for having us tonight. We had the best time. This was so inspiring. So thank you so much.
All right, well, let's have another round of applause for the Story Pirates team here. Wonderful. So as I mentioned, the book, and we had to get like special dispensation from their publisher to get this book. It's not available in stores, but it is stacked up on a table outside. So if you do have any interest in that, it'll be there today and tomorrow. So I wanted to take a brief time before I send you on your way to just tell you a little bit more about what's going to happen for the rest of the weekend. This is just the beginning for the One Book, Two Book Festival. And so there's that. And now some highlights of our schedule. We will be back in the same space tomorrow morning, as I said. We'll be starting off at 10 o'clock in the morning. You can come in. There will be, this room will be magically transformed. And so there will be booths with a lot of activities and some vendors, and the librarians will be doing things, all kinds of things going on. At 10:30 on this stage, Darren Crow, a local storyteller, wonderful tale spinner, will be here telling stories to the kids. At 11, as we mentioned, the Story Pirates will be back here doing Stuck in the Stone Age. The book character meet and greet, we have Clifford, Splat the Cat, Llama Llama, and Paddington. You saw some of them as you were coming in. I hope that will be going on. We have our Comic Book Confidential workshop. I think we still have a couple of spots left in that, so if you wanted to show up at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I think you could sign up for that. Our junior high writing jam is at noon with Mallory and her team at the IYWP, and I think they've got some space available there as well. They'll be taking kids over to the mill and doing some great writing activities there. There's registration on onebook2book.org for those if you wanted to take a look at those and at least get some information about them. Let's see what else I've got. Our Absolute Science Show. We have the Creative Conversations with Animal Puppets. That's a bilingual production that we have in English and Spanish. Ana Marino, who teaches at the University of Iowa in the Creative Spanish Language Creative Writing MFA program, will be leading that. It's a wonderful performance. We've got some story times and a lot more going on all day. We wrap up at 4 here, so a lot of opportunity for you to come back. And then on Sunday, we have our event called Write Out Loud. That will be from 1 to 3 at McBride Auditorium. So those 800 submissions that I mentioned that we got that our friends at ACT helped us to evaluate, in addition to picking school level winners here tonight, they've also picked grade level winners for grades 1 through 8 across all of those 800 submissions. So those are students all throughout the Iowa City Cedar Rapids corridor. And the best of those students will be reading their work at that event, as I said, from 1 to 3 at McBride. We're also giving out honorable mention. So throughout the course of this entire weekend, we are recognizing about 85 student writers and letting them know that we as a community value writing. You know, writing can be a very isolating thing. It's not like playing in the band. It's not like scoring the winning touchdown for your football team. You do it by yourself, sitting at your table, and maybe you show the work to your friends, maybe you don't. And so we like to shine a light on some of the best students that are doing that, let them know that as a city of literature, this matters here, that it has value, and that we hope that they continue. So I would like to give one last thank you to our sponsors, if I've got it right on my slides, and I do. 100 Plus Men, the Community Foundation of Johnson County, ACT, US Bank, Daydreams has helped us out. The list goes on. We've had so many incredible organizations and individuals that have helped us to make this year's festival and past festivals a success. So thank you again to our student readers. Congratulations again. Your work is amazing. Thank you for sharing it with us tonight. Thanks to Mallory and Andre for helping me out tonight. Thanks again to the Story Pirates, and have a pleasant rest of your evening. Thank you.